Hey guys, Lyra Lynx here. I know that it has been a little too long since I have posted, but I've just kind of been going through it at school here, so I thought I'd give y'all a quick update video and then actually work on some real content hopefully today. Let's go. We've started week 4 of school, and hoo boy, it's just been a whole adventure. I have all my schoolwork basically done for the week. I've got my first exam for my politics class on Wednesday. So for the most part, my week is pretty much done. I get to enjoy myself today, which is great, but it did not start off well, and I do have a couple complaints about how things are going, but that's to be expected, especially with all the COVID rules and stuff. So, my junior year, I almost said sophomore, wow, I'm really a junior in college now, this is something, but my junior year got to start off with it was just me, my mom, and my boyfriend who moved all of my stuff in. So, my boyfriend met us at the college, and, it was just me and mom in the car. I don't know if they had sent out emails prior about COVID tests, but I didn't know until we got there, regardless, that, we had to be COVID tested. So that was one of the first things that we had to do. We weren't even allowed to go into the building or anything. I had to go over, get signed in, and take a test. And I actually had no idea before this how COVID tests were performed. There was no reason for me to take one at all before. So my mom warned me that they were gonna stick a freaking giant swab all the way up to my brain, basically. And so I instantly started to get anxious. Of course, I always have been an anxious person. I've been working a lot on my anxiety and figuring out ways to cope. But I was not coping with this situation at all. So we pull up, and the guy starts to put a thing in my nose. It was really bad. And at first it just felt like super uncomfortable, but then he kept pushing and it hurt. It hurt bad. People say that the test isn't that bad, and people are like, oh no, it doesn't hurt at all. I thought that it hurt. I screamed. I was like, ah! And he just keeps shoving up there. So then he, is done, and I couldn't even look at him anymore. I had already started to bawl and, going into my mental hysterics, and I'm just, crying and freaking out, full panic attack mode afterward. And my mom has to try to calm me down as we're driving away, and she's just so angry. She told me, that if I didn't want to take the COVID test, that we could just drive away and I could go online. And literally, because all the rules here are such BS, and I just feel so isolated. For my first week, I did just want to go home. That was the only thing that I wanted to do. So after said panic attack, I had to get myself together to be able to move all of my stuff in. And, my boyfriend gave me a hug, this and that. I tried to feel better. So we start moving all the stuff up. And, of course, you have to wear a mask the entire time. I live on the 3rd floor. We had to hike things up and down 3 flights of stairs with masks on. And mind you, there is no air conditioning whatsoever in the building. And I moved in end of August. It was still blazing hot. Ridiculous. It was so hot that eventually when my roommate moved in the next day and we got 2 fans set up and everything, it was still hot as shit. There was no helping that situation. So we get everything moved in, la-da-da. And then I went back home for the day because my roommate wasn't going to be there yet. I really didn't want to sleep here alone. And I found, we had a hall meeting eventually online where we talked about all the rules. I can understand why we're not supposed to have any visitors or guests at all. Whatever. Understandable, but We can't even have another classmate in our room, otherwise we will get in severe trouble. We have assigned bathrooms, and let me tell you, that has been nothing but a nightmare for me. There are 3 or 4 other rooms assigned to my roommate and I's bathroom, and oh my gosh, I don't know who these people are, but they must be slobs. Every time I go into the bathroom, I see noodles in the sink or hair. The trash is always overflowing. There's always dry piss or pubes on the toilet. Pisses me off, especially because I respect the heck out of our cleaning crew. They are literally the best part of this place. They do such a good job to try to keep us safe and clean here, and I love them, so I know it's not their fault. They clean every day, and the bathroom still looks like that every day that I go in there. Also, it seems like every time I need to pee like a racehorse or any of that sort of thing, there's always somebody in there. We have to schedule for shower times, and what I was not aware of while I was scheduling for shower times was that it wasn't just for that first week. That was the permanent time that we felt like showering for the rest of the semester. Yeah, so that made me upset. And also during the hall meeting, she said that RRA mentioned if we followed the rules and we do really well, then we could move into a new phase where we're allowed to have 1 other person in our rooms. Wow! I don't even care enough. Like, honestly, just hearing that, it didn't make me happy or anything. I would prefer to have nobody if it's only a single other person, because I usually hang out in groups of 3, 4, you know, so it doesn't really have much of a point, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I should just be grateful that we'd be allowed, but that's only if we follow the rules, and people really aren't. Freshmen are piling into cars and going to other colleges to party and coming back. And I know that I have to be back and forth myself, but I only live 15 minutes away, and the only reason I leave is because I have a job, and I'm not going to leave that job, first of all, because of the hours, second of all, the way they work around my schedule, and third of all, I get along pretty well, for the most part, with a lot of my coworkers, and I can't see a reason not to continue working there with opportunities for raises and stuff. It's pretty much my best option. I'm kind of commuting, but not quite. I work every weekend, and then sometimes I might pick up a few extra hours if it's possible. But it does bother me that people are literally going out just to big parties. I mean, when I go to work, I'm obviously wearing a mask, I'm following COVID procedures still, and then I come back, I record my temperature here every day, we have to do daily health screenings. Oh, but people just want to go out and party and do what they want and try to make things horrible for the rest of us, so it kind of sucks. And I've never been really a person, I guess, to want to get involved with too many events here. I'm kind of like the loner type-ish in college here. I just think that it's a little bit time-consuming to do all these other activities, and I'd rather just, you know, chill on my own terms and get all my homework done, whatever have you there. And also, now with all the rules about distancing and masks, I would rather just be alone in my room, because this is one of the only places where I feel like I'm allowed to breathe. And it's kind of discouraging, I guess. I can go out on the town and like go see the little shops. I've been going to the bookstore a lot. That's like the saving grace of this year, is the new bookstore. I've been buying lots of manga and things, but I don't know. It just feels almost like a prison in a way. We're only allowed to go through certain doors and out certain exits for food, and you know, everything is contactless, and it just seems like people aren't as kind anymore because of everything going on. And I can understand they have to wear like a mask all day and not touch anybody, and it's probably hard to hear us through our masks, and it's hard for them too, but it just sucks because it doesn't feel like the same service that it was before, because I thought that the food service people were always so nice, joke around with you, get to know you, and now it just feels like there's nothing. So I mean, that's kind of where I was getting really frustrated with all these different changes, and at first it was a little bit difficult for me to try to adjust to classes and stuff. So for a long while I debated whether or not I just wanted to be fully online, because it kind of sucks in many ways to live here like this. Also, we have more COVID testing this week, so I'm a little bit terrified of having another panic attack, especially because the first time I took the COVID test was in the comfort of my own car with my mom beside me. And, you know, there was a comforting figure next to me. This time, on Thursday, I have to go alone into some random dark tent, and I'm scared. Even though I know what to expect now, I'm like super scared. It almost makes me want to cry, or I get shaky, or like I can already feel panic attack-y sort of symptoms just from talking about it. Please excuse the lighting due to time change and so on. Wow, that looks really bright in the background. Anyway, I've been through quite a bit already this year, oh my. I also have an emotional support animal. I got a cat on my birthday. He's the sweetest little thing. His name is Garu, after the main monster in Monster Rancher 4, because he just kind of looks like an orange little tiger lion dude, and I love him so much. So I decided that, I fell in love with my cat instantly. He makes me feel so much better. It's like he can sense when I'm off, and he's just like, no mom, don't cry. He's literally licked up my tears, and he just snuggles into my lap and under my neck. He's the sweetest little boy ever. He also has a ton of energy and just always wants to play. But yes, he's just so perfect. He immediately took to using the litter box. Like, there's no real issues there with any of that. And I decided, you know, when I go to college, I don't want to part with this baby, so I'll talk to a therapist. I did that all online. And, you know, I went through this survey process to see if I would qualify for an ESA. And, you know, your girl suffers from some anxiety and depression. So the therapist was like, yeah, give this girl an animal. So, I've got my ESA letter for Garu. It was sent to me via email, and I think that they were supposed to give me a physical copy, but that didn't happen, so what I'm gonna do is print off my letter, because, you know, it's still the ESA letter. But anyway, so I was thinking that I would be able to move in my cat rather quickly, you know? So I called housing, called up my school and wanted them to transfer me to housing. And so she transfers me over there, but she didn't tell me that, hey, they're out of office. So I get the message like, yo, we're out of office until the 14th of September. And back then it was like a week or so prior to them actually coming back. And I was just like, oh, that's great. So I went back to the first lady that was on the phone and I was like, hey, they're not in, what should I do? So she told me to send them an email, which I did, and they didn't reply to me until today, but I'll talk about that in a second. But what she did tell me is something that shocked me, because usually this place is so strict on their rules, but she was like, hey, until this is official, if you talk to your RA and can come up with an agreement, you can have your animal right now. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's great. I can finally have my cat. I've been waiting so long for this. And it sucked too, because I had had some really bad mental health days where I just wished that he was there and that I could cuddle him and just have that comfort. And on that day too, it was kind of rough, but I emailed my RA and explained that, like, hey, if we come to an agreement, I was told that I can have my animal. Yo, please let me have my animal. And she was like, nope, fuck you. You have to wait until everything's official. She told me, in her exact words, I believe, were, you'll have to wait until, you know, everything is official. And I'm just like... So I was told that if we could agree, I could have my cat, which has no relation to you whatsoever. It doesn't affect you at all. But you're gonna tell me no, because it's not official. So I had to wait a whole week until housing was back in office. They were back in office yesterday, but I received an email from them today. And I found out, hey, it's not even housing that I have to go through first for this process. She asked if I had received any letters from disability services here, as well as some other department that I cannot currently remember for whatever reason. But yeah, there are like, I guess, 2 other departments that I have to talk to, and she told me to contact this one lady who I emailed tonight, and I'll have to check to see if she's responded to me, or, you know, going through the week when that'll be. I literally still have no idea how to even go about this process. I just emailed this lady and I'm like, hey, I haven't got any letters from these branches, the disabilities and whatever else, and I have no idea how this process works. Please help me. So I still don't have my cat. We're in week 4. So needless to say, I'm highly frustrated because not only has it already been 4 weeks, but I'm still struggling to figure out the process of how this all works, and they'll have to let me know what documentation I need and so on. So I have no idea in what time frame I'll even be able to have my cat, and it just makes me upset because I can see him on weekends and everything going home for work and all, but it bothers me that he can't be here with me, and it bothers me when I go home and they tell me that he's been sleeping in my bed and crying when I leave and this and that. It just like breaks my heart that I can't have him here with me and that my cat misses me like I miss him. And I'm not gonna get emotional right now. I really do love my cat a lot. So I just hope that he'll be able to be with me here soon. But other than that, everything is kind of weird, different. I definitely don't go out that much, and it seems like every other student does. I saw a ton of people out on the volleyball court, like more than I think are technically allowed to be gathered, but they all had on masks. They were playing volleyball. Why are we still out here playing sports with masks on and stuff? I could never. Like, I don't think I'd be able to catch my breath enough. I have to wear a mask to sing for choir, and I can hardly hit the notes like I usually do, so I can't even imagine how people playing sports are even going about their lives right now. Cannot comprehend that at all. But the good thing is that I'm kind of getting on track with my classes, getting used to the swing of things on my schedule, so I've been able to finish a lot of work quickly. I don't know if that'll be the case when I start my Spanish class as well in October, because I feel like that'll just add quite a bit of extra workload, but hopefully it all works out. We also found out in an email today that all traveling spring terms are canceled. Surprise, surprise, that's what happened last year too. But it makes me wonder. I do have to take 2 spring terms, like one this year, one next year, before I graduate. But for my major, Spanish, well, one of my majors, I double major English and Spanish. But for Spanish, we're supposed to study abroad, so I don't know if they're gonna have a thing now where that's just not a requirement, or how they're going to have us do that. Hopefully that'll be clarified a little bit when I start Spanish again and, you know, can actually talk to the department. But yeah, other than that, I've just kind of been going with the flow. I don't desperately want to do online school now like I did the first week. However, it probably would be easier for me if I just commuted, and then I wouldn't have to worry as much about all of this, but I'm here, and I feel like I focus better when I'm on campus and everything, but one of the main reasons I wanted to be here in the first place was to see friends, and I feel like I still see some people, but I feel like I don't really see anybody. Back to that prison comparison, I feel a lot more isolated, and I don't know, it's a whole different experience. I know that I probably shouldn't be complaining so much because I'm in a good position in life where I'm able to work and try to pay for my schooling, and, you know, I'm blessed enough to be in school, but I am frustrated with how the college has handled so many issues. I don't think that, you know, it's not like they're open to benefit us. I think what they really are after is their funding, because I feel like if they care about the students, then they would have had everything be online from the start, which is the most frustrating thing for me. What I don't understand is why on move-in day they COVID tested us all and, you know, didn't try to test us in advance or something. I know that that might not be feasible, but shoot, like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to bring everybody together all at once, not knowing if they've tested positive or not yet, and then have them all move in and spread germs. I know that the cleaning crew does a great job trying to disinfect everything every day and so on and so forth, but there's only so much that you can stop, and they're required, you know, by law to tell us our case counts and everything, so there's a dashboard, a COVID dashboard, and we've got like 6 cases already. We're a very small school. There's like 1,000 something of us. And even though it's like a small number, it just makes me feel like nervous and like things could have been handled better. I don't know, but I'm here. I'm trying my best, and at the end of the day, I just want my degree, please. So, I think I'll stop complaining for now. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little life update. That's why I haven't been making a ton of videos. I've just been really focused on this. I actually got to like a breaking point already this semester, so I started counseling. And I've only had 1 session so far, but it seems helpful. I'm trying to do a lot of things just to better myself, and I don't really like the position I'm in, and I can change that, so I'm going to do that. I also still want to make a lot more videos for you guys though, and I'd like to do a series where I can just talk about anime, manga, video games, all the stuff that I'm into right now. So I want to try to film a little bit with that tonight, and hopefully that'll be a series that I can do weekly, question mark, hopefully. But that is it for this video. Thank you if you actually bothered to just hear me rant. That's kind of just what's been going on right now. And pray for me that I get my animal here soon. Oh my. Anyway, that is it for this video. Please be sure to leave a like if you enjoy, even though it's just me complaining. Subscribe for more content, and I love talking to y'all in the comments section, so feel free to comment if you so choose, and I would love to see you in another video. Goodbye.